Amy Roberts Primary School, Green Turtle Key. Faith Walk Church of God Community Center, Cooperstown. Grand Key All-Age School, Preschool Block, Grand Key. Abaco Southern District. Crossing Rocks Primary School, Crossing Rocks. Moores Island School, Moores Island. And Soul Seeking Ministries, Moores Island. And that was the list of the 2025 official hurricane shelter list of the DRM Authority.
Well, what about me?
What about you, what?
Well, I thirsty too, you know.
You want to see all the water out there?
Well, why you don't give me your water, and then you go try and drink that salt water?
You crazy, eh?
I ain't the one talking to a dog, you know.
Ain't nobody could drink salt water.
Then why you won't give it to me? All dogs need fresh, cool water and sufficient shelter from the sun all year round, especially on the beach and during the hot summer months.
Summers are very hot here in the Bahamas, so please make sure all pets have ample, cool, fresh water in proper containers and sufficient shelter from the sun, even on the beach. And make sure all dog houses and kennels have proper ventilation. Let's make it Bahamian to be humane.
This message has been brought to you by the Bahamas Humane Society and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
A lot of our young men and women, they look forward to being around the game of basketball so much because a lot of their community is infested with crime and violence. It's always been a passion of mine to make sure I channel these young men and women in the right direction through sports. Basketball and being in this environment is a safe haven for them in terms of what they need to do to get out. You have leadership conference to help these young men and women to understand the importance of making the right choice. I tell all of my athletes, when you go to school, help yourself, stay focused, use basketball, don't let basketball use you. I love the game has been good to me, and I just want to give back to the young people who have opportunity so the game can be good to them. Crime-free looks like me.
Do your part. Join the movement to a safer Bahamas.
You've got termites and need to get rid of them fast? Trust Rent-A-Kill Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Rent-A-Kill Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rent-A-Kill Initial.
At the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, I'm Clint Watson, and this is ZNS.
News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the all-clear given as the Prime Minister declares it's back to business. Also, more than 150 residents ride out the storm in shelters across 3 major islands. And how did tourism numbers square up in August? And what does the central bank have to say about the decline? The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. The heavy winds and rains have subsided, and in their place, a pretty calm and overall beautiful day here in the capital. The picture last night, though, entirely different. Back with us again tonight is our chief meteorologist, Basil Dean, who's going to let us in on where Tropical Storm Imelda is now positioned and to what degree she's impacting other portions of the Bahamas. Basil?
Good evening, Makusha. Tropical Storm Imelda made its final port of call in the Bahamas at Central Grand Bahama, West End Grand Bahama, and Abaco today, bringing tropical storm conditions, which include periods of rains, which were heavy at times, and some very strong gusty winds. Now, the winds were not really a major factor, but the rains brought severe flooding to many islands, including New Providence, so much so that I was unable to leave my place of Odor today because of severe flooding in Westwood Villas. Now, at 5 o'clock this afternoon, the center of Tropical Storm Imelda was about 70 miles north of Green Key Abaco, moving north at 9 miles per hour, with sustained winds at 65 miles per hour. Now, we anticipate that Imelda will become a hurricane tomorrow as it continues to intensify, pulling away from the Bahamas. Now, as we go to our live weather radar, you'll see that eastern Grand Bahama has been now cleared of those showers, but there's just a little small tip off the extreme northern portion of Abaco still experiencing some showers there from Imelda. But within the next hour or two, that too will lift towards the north. And anytime now, the Department of Meteorology could issue the final all clear for those two islands, namely Grand Bahama and the Abacos. But nevertheless, some very large swells will be generated by Imelda and also Humberto, which is still pretty much impressive out there in the Atlantic. It's packing winds of 140 miles per hour, making it a Category 4 hurricane. So between these two systems, very large swells will create hazardous beaching and boating conditions for most of the eastern islands of the Bahamas over the next few days. So we're advising boaters to simply remain in port or exercise extreme caution. Kushla.
Well, thanks, Basil. Now, as Tropical Storm Imelda gradually makes her way out of the Bahamas, it's back to work for many Bahamians and back to the classrooms for students, with some exceptions. Desmond Saunders, who's standing by at the DRMA, tells us more. Desmond?
Well, the Prime Minister of the Bahamas addressing a number of critical issues here at the Disaster Risk Management Authority, Gladstone Road. Top of the agenda, Tropical Storm Imelda. He announced that all public offices will resume or reopen tomorrow. All public schools will reopen tomorrow, of course, with a number of exceptions.
All public schools are expected to open tomorrow, Tuesday, September 30th, 2025, with the exception of the following due to flooding issues. In New Providence, Saunders Primary, Sadie Curtis Primary, Clyde's Primary, Judith Thompson Primary, Buttonwood Preschool, Coconut Grove Preschool, Sybil Strawn Primary, Gerald Cash Primary, Stephen Dillard Primary, Williamstown Primary, Central Abaco Primary, Moss Island School, and Cooperstown Preschool. We want to express our appreciation to the cooperation of parents, guardians, and staff as we continue to prioritize the safety and well-being of our school communities. Further updates will be provided as conditions improve by the Ministry of Education and Vocational Teaching. And further later tonight, if there are any new developments in respect to schools not mentioned or schools mentioned. Private schools are asked to conduct their own assessments and make determinations based on their individual circumstances.
As indicated earlier, the Prime Minister is back from his trip from the United Nations. He used the opportunity to highlight in his address to the United States, highlight his address to the United States, refuting the U.S. President's claim that climate change is a hoax. He said that the effects of climate change and its associated costs borne by the Bahamas after hurricanes is real.
Watching multiple storms gathering in the Atlantic last week, it was clear to me that our advocacy for the Bahamas on the world stage continues to be critical. It has yielded some good results, and we need to keep fighting. At the United Nations, where I was, I carried your voices into one of the world's great halls, and I reminded the world that Bahamians are living on the front lines of a changing climate. Scientific studies confirm that climate change is warming waters, and those warmer waters are driving up the intensity of storms in the Atlantic Basin. Every major storm leaves behind damage that government must repair. Roads are washed out. Schools and clinics are ruined. Homes and docks are destroyed. Rebuilding, just to get back where we started, is a necessity, not a luxury. Hurricane Joaquin, Matthew, Irma, Dorian, these storms alone cost us more than $6 billion in direct damages. And then to consider the economic disruption, the environmental damage, the significantly high insurance premiums, the indirect costs, nearly double our losses. So cleaning up after each storm means new borrowings. Year after year, hurricane after hurricane, our debt rises as we rebuild what was already built before. And while we are busy fixing what was lost, lenders are factoring our climate risk into their interest rates, which means it is more expensive to invest in the things we need, from better hospitals, to new industries, to strong infrastructure to withstand stronger storms. Also, insurance companies are factoring our climate realities into their premiums, causing our premiums to be higher. This is the trap that climate change sets for countries like ours.
Well, that press briefing with the Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, has ended here at the Disaster Risk Management Authority in Gladstone Road, and we will have more in a later newscast. He addressed a full gamut of issues, and we will bring it to you in a later newscast. Live here at the Disaster Risk Management Authority, Gladstone Road, Desmond Saunders of Bahamas Tonight.
Well, thanks, Desmond. Now, for a list of those schools not given the green light to reopen tomorrow, you can check out our social media sites. Coming up, flooding affecting thousands here in the capital and elsewhere. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. That and more news in a moment.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this one, sis.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CD. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
The last eclipse of our galaxy. Scientists are gathered here today to witness this extraordinary event. Simply marvelous, extraordinary, unforgettable, one of a kind. Oh man, that's amazing.
You can't ignore the craving that makes everything crunch. The new crispy barbecue bacon sandwich with barbecue sauce, cheddar, bacon, crispy onions, and an extra large chicken fillet. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Hello, bonjour, hola, hello, ciao.
No matter where your passport takes you, BTC roaming keeps you effortlessly connected. Enjoy seamless calls, lightning-fast data, and affordable roaming across the globe. No SIM swaps, no stress. Just one network, working everywhere. So go ahead, explore the world, and still be just a call away from home.
Sting Junkanoo Group is celebrating 25 years of music, and you're invited to the greatest show ever, counting down the years, performing hit song after hit songs. VVS, Colin McDonald, KB, Dyson Knight and D-Mac. Saturday, November 1st at the Farm Marshall Road, 8 p.m. until. Tickets can be purchased online at www.bahamaseattickets.com for your skybox or to be a food vendor. Call 424-6433, 477-0191. Sponsored by ZNS, Island Luck TV, The Farm, Gatorade Today and Co. Limited, Crystal Minute and Associates.
Things may be tough, but Wendy's got you covered. Grab a day single or chicken sandwich with a junior fries and 16-ounce beverage for just $6.95. Why choose less from the other guys when you can get more? At Wendy's, we're providing bigger bites and better deals. So purchase your Tings Tough Value Meal today. Now available at all locations excluding the airport and food truck.
You're looking at a shot there of West Street near Woodcock Primary School. That street and side streets impassable. That shot courtesy of our drone pilot, Kyson Miller. Well, welcome back. As a new day and week begins, residents throughout the capital still pretty much grappling with the impact of last night's wind and rain that led to flooding and pretty challenging road conditions. Our Lloyd Allen reports from southern New Providence.
It's the start of the week, but a slow return back to normalcy following last night's downpour in various parts of the country. Like in this area, this is near East Street and Soldier Road, where right here behind me you can see a pocket of flooding, this in excess of about 6 inches, and many parts of the country suffering this kind of flooding. Many motorists as well forced to traverse through these areas to get to their various destinations.
Well, I think the government need to do something with the drain, or the people who have the contract, they need to get on it and fix it so we won't have the flooding.
There was rain and constant rain, but it wasn't heavy. As a result, it flooded some yards, half filled the road with water.
One of the most heavily impacted areas remains Pinewood Gardens. As you can see here, water remains still out on the streets in many of the areas, forcing many of those residents indoors and without any real answers on when the water will subside.
All you have to do is bring the pump truck, because the drain's not working.
We have 2 pumps. Somebody lent us one, and we have the other pump.
This is one of the pumps that she's been using. This has been going since about 8 o'clock this morning. Currently, it's just shortly after 3 p.m. and it's still pumping. And inside the house, there's still about 2 to 3 inches of water. As we made our journey throughout Pinewood Gardens, we visited a number of areas, all of which showed significant signs of flooding. Now, the Member of Parliament for the area did speak with a number of those residents and does offer this relief moving forward.
The government has appropriated some $20 million for drain remediation as it relates to Pinewood. We had planned for October the 3rd for a town hall meeting in Pinewood to inform the residents of that drainage solution. The team from the Ministry of Works would be there, and Pinewood residents are encouraged to come out. I was on the phone from like around 10 o'clock last night. Some of these people haven't slept a wink. And you've been in there and you've seen people are still pumping water out of their house. They're still mopping up, and it's very, very, very frustrating. And I understand their frustrations.
And the hope again is for this relief to come right in time for these residents after many years of concerns. Reporting here from the Pinewood Gardens community for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, thanks, Lloyd. Meantime, West Calix Forbes made it out to downtown Nassau. Though long known for rising waters, this time around it was surprisingly different.
Meteorologists had warned that flooding would have been one of the biggest threat when it came to the storm. And while other parts of New Providence, such as Pinewood and East Street, saw water floods very quickly, downtown Nassau stayed flood-free.
From last week, the Ministry of Works full civil department and other members of the team at the ministry began assessing all major drains throughout New Providence, as well as culverts, to ensure that they were cleaned, properly backwashed, as well as the culverts, to ensure that proper drainage occurred after we understood the amount of rain that would be experienced in New Providence. We also did this in Grand Bahama and as well as Abaco. If you notice in areas of downtown, the drainage is working very well. Downtown seems to be draining fairly quickly.
The minister also revealed that 12 large 6-inch pumps are available to help keep floodwaters under control in areas close to the shoreline.
And we've also engaged pump trucks to start to pump out areas that are in the inner city to ensure that persons throughout New Providence to try to mitigate and alleviate some of the flooding that is happening throughout New Providence.
The preparation paid off in downtown Nassau, which avoiding the flooding that it is notorious for. But officials warn that other communities weren't as fortunate, and cleanup relief efforts is forthcoming. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm West Calix Forbes.
Well, critical drainage work conducted on Saunders Beach today as residents in that area grapple with significant flooding in the aftermath of Imelda. Here's Fern Carey with that story.
Teams from the Ministry of Works will be working at Saunders Beach over the next 2 days, pumping water into the ocean in an effort to bring relief to residents in West Grove, St. Albans Drive, and Papal Track, where residents are grappling with almost knee-deep water caused by heavy rainfall dumped by Tropical Storm Imelda. Some motorists also chose to turn back rather than risk traveling through the heavy floodwaters in those areas. Senior engineer at the Ministry of Works, Dexter Williams, noted that portions of Saunders Beach will be off limits to residents for the next 2 days to prevent them from entering the water while the exercise continues.
It's very fast moving water,
and it's deep. So we do not want, as a matter of fact, we're going to put up caution tape later on as the day progresses, because we don't want any kids or anybody unauthorized to come over here because it's very dangerous.
In addition to Saunders Beach, Williams also indicated that teams were deployed to address flooding by the six-leg roundabout.
Because we have this, what we call a perfect storm situation, where we have the wind is creating pushing the water back and creating a sort of high tide effect.
Longtime St. Albans Drive resident Reno DeVoe says the heavy flooding took him by surprise.
As I came out of the house this morning, I walked in knee-deep water, and the whole area was flooded. And I never saw it like that before in my life. I was living there for about 15 years and never saw it like that.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
Now, though only a tropical storm Sunday's system forced dozens into shelters tonight, our Danielle Dean reports on the number of people still there.
Tropical Storm Imelda's effects have resulted in a number of shelters across New Providence, Abaco, and Grand Bahama being occupied by residents seeking refuge somewhere for the time being they consider safer than their residences. 150 people are in shelters nationally. Shelters in New Providence include the Nassau Village Community Center with 4 people and New Bethlehem Baptist Church with 3 people. In Grand Bahama, Maurice Moore Primary School has 21 residents, St. George's High School 9 residents, and Christ the King Auditorium for Special Needs 5 residents. According to Social Services and Disaster Risk Management Authority officials, the Mount Olivet Baptist Church on the island is not occupied. On Abaco, the Central Abaco Primary School currently holds 100 residents, and Moores Island Primary School has 8. South and North Andros centers were deactivated early Monday. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
With My Freedom 15, I always get the latest. That's a cop.
With My Freedom 15, I never miss the Facebook drama.
With My Freedom 15, I can call my friends on the Alive network at any time. Girl, you calling me again? Yes, and I have 100 free minutes to call the US and Canada, so you know.
Find your future with certificate courses from the University of the West Indies. Fast and affordable, our courses give you the skills to get hired, promoted, and ahead of the game. Choose project management, supervisory management, law for human resources, business and commercial law, and even technical skills like Canva design, web design, and computer repair and networking. Register now at global.uwi.edu/Bahamas or WhatsApp 456-6687. The University of the West Indies, Global Campus, the Bahamas.
Blessings gonna find me here. Spicy on new
Signature hot wings.
What's your flavor? Roasted garlic parmesan, tastes so good, chicken.
Those pepper wings.
Now available at Popeyes in Nassau.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Operations resumed today at Lynden Pindling International Airport with only slight delays reported. As a precautionary measure, the airport closed its doors at midnight Saturday ahead of the tropical storm. Nassau Airport Development Company officials have since confirmed that LPIA sustained little to no damage. Vice President of Operations Jonathan Hanna spoke on the airport's reopening.
We received the all clear at about 6:30 a.m. from the Bahamas Met Department, indicating that it was safe for us to begin our initial safety inspections, and our team that was stationed here at the airport immediately began the same. Their role was to inspect all of the various critical pieces of airport infrastructure, such as our runways and taxiways on the air side, our terminal buildings, and obviously our land side infrastructure. Simultaneously, we began speaking with all of our various airport partners around restarting the operation in a coordinated way, and flight operations began at around 10 a.m. this morning. Right now, we do have some delays, which is not unexpected given the dynamic situation that it is. However, things continue to progress well.
With the news of LPIA reopening comes the assurance that tourism is back in full swing. You see, while Bahamians were locked down, riding out the wind and rain, thousands of cruise passengers still had high hopes of having a wonderful time here in the capital. Felicity Darville spoke with some of our visitors down at the Nassau Cruise Port.
There were still thousands of cruise passengers converging on New Providence, hoping to have a fantastic vacation. Let's find out how they fared. Scott Christie of Jacksonville, Florida, came to the Nassau Cruise Port on the Carnival Freedom, and from here he heads to Celebration Key.
We didn't have a whole lot of effect from it. We went out Saturday, I think, is when we left. So Sunday we kind of rode around, then we ended up having to go back to Port Canaveral Sunday because somebody got hurt on the boat. So we drove back there before we came here today. So we didn't have much effect from the storm. It was a little rocky this morning, but that was it.
Rachel and her family are thankful that a previous warning that their ship may have to be diverted was changed, and they made it to Nassau.
Yeah, we had to reschedule a couple of things. They kind of warned us that we might not be able to make it, which was a little worrying, but we were able to come here early, actually, so it's pretty nice. Yeah, good experience.
Marlon, a North Carolina native, took a taxi to see some of the island, and he experienced the flooding.
It was pretty shaky last night coming in, but overall it was a good trip. It's nice. I mean, hadn't got to see a whole lot, but I mean, from what I saw, I liked it. The water all over the roads, it's a lot of detours.
Now, while those cruise passengers are all repeat visitors, it was Michaela and Annie's first time, and they arrived on the Seascape MSC.
We were a little scared. It was a little bumpy. Huh? Yeah. A little bumpy. Probably around like 3 a.m. Yeah. We were a little nervous, but it was fine. We went to Drunkeno Beach.
Yeah, on the beach and go see trash and go watch the water.
Did you swim in the water?
Yeah, by myself.
It was still okay. We enjoy the beach. We enjoy the water and just hanging out and seeing the local spots where people hang out. Yeah, there were a lot of closures today, and I really didn't know if we would even have the cruise with the weather, but I'm glad everything worked out.
Little Annie is now hooked on some Bahamen.
Let the dog out. Woof.
And of all the places she and her mom visited, she has a favorite.
Bahamas!
From the Nassau Cruise Port for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Felicity Darville.
Well, stay with us, the Bahamas Tonight. The National Report continues with news from Grand Bahama.
Diet-friendly special.
For hurricane season, we got impact windows and doors. For protection, just come to our store. Plus we got tiles to pretty up your walls and your floors. We'll help you brighten up for that big bad storm. Porcelain tiles, blank tiles, mosaic tiles, a variety of styles. Before things get right, they gotta be rough. That's why we got the best deals in the whole Bahamas. Hey, hey.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
J.S. Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
This October, the Bahama Culinary and Arts Festival returns, October 22nd through 26th. Experience world-class cuisine from top chefs and immerse yourself in extraordinary art and celebrate the culture of the Bahamas. And on Friday, October 24th, global superstar Lenny Kravitz takes the stage for an unforgettable concert. The Bahama Culinary and Arts Festival. Savor the world, celebrate the Bahamas. Tickets at bahamarfestival.com.
Rainfall blanketing Grand Bahama earlier today, but those conditions have since improved. Residents, though, taking no chances, heeding evacuation orders and seeking shelter. Shalia Rowe reports.
Tropical storm Imelda delivered shifting conditions across Grand Bahama, from clear skies in the afternoon to heavy downpours in the morning. With evacuation orders issued for parts of East Grand Bahama, many residents sought refuge in Freeport hotels, hunkering down to ride out the storm.
Authorities urged residents to seek safer ground as conditions deteriorated, prompting many to take refuge in hotels across Freeport to ride out the storm. Hoteliers reported a steady flow of guests checking in throughout the day as families sought secure shelter.
Currently, we're running at an occupancy level of 75% due to the onset of Hurricane Imelda, and we cherish always to be able to operate for the Bahamian populace during this time.
General Manager at Castaways Resort and Suites Vernon Grant says that the Grand Bahama Power Company has done a commendable job keeping electricity on during Tropical Storm Imelda so far, but adds that the resort is fully prepared should conditions change.
We also have an in-house generator, so we have power always, but we've had no interruption with power from.
Still, despite repeated warnings from the Department of Meteorology and emergency officials, some residents were seen traversing the streets as the storm intensified. While many admitted that they were curious to see what was happening in their neighborhoods, they also stressed that they intended to take heed to the official advisories.
Being nosy, peeking out to see what's going on out here, because as I was home, I see the weather looking so calm.
I have to get breakfast at Burger King, but all the storms to be taken seriously. I think this one have moved on a little bit, but don't take that for granted.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shalia Rowe.
Despite earlier weather conditions, Grand Bahama Power Company says the vast majority of its customers still have electricity. Here's Chief Operating Officer Nikita Mullings with an update on where things stand and ongoing efforts to, keep the lights on.
98% of our customers remained energized, with 2% of our customers experiencing isolated outages. We do have an isolated area that was impacted due to pole fire. We want to remind our customers to stay away from down power lines and down poles. These can be reported to our 24/7 call center at 352-8411.
Grand Bahama's water utility company says it's ready to begin restoration, specifically in the East End community where services were temporarily interrupted. Sherelle Dames has this angle.
Grand Bahama Utility Company manager Leon Cooper confirmed that his team issued a notice on Saturday announcing a controlled shutdown of facilities in East End. The shutdown was scheduled to begin as soon as weather conditions became unsafe for continued operations. East Grand Bahama has been placed under a mandatory evacuation order, and although some residents expressed frustration, Cooper emphasized that the decision was made strictly out of concern for public and staff safety.
The water company could drive back up here and cut this water on. I called the man, he can tell me, we ain't coming to cut no water on until you get the all clear.
The government elected
to have that area deemed an evacuation zone or area. So the intent was to have the residents leave that area for their own personal safety.
Cooper also stressed that extensive provision has been made to ensure all plants have backup power, ensuring that water supply would come even in the event of power loss.
All of our plants have a backup generator in the event there's a power loss. We can still feed some water back into the community. So we make sure all of our generators are properly fueled, serviced, and ready to go.
But the general manager adds that planning and coordination began well before the system formed. He says engaging the help of its partners at the Grand Bahama Power and Sanitation Services is a part of the usual custom. However, this time that support was not needed. Meanwhile, Cooper says his team at the GBUC is on standby for restoration in the East End community.
We're now waiting to get the all clear to begin to go back into the East End of the island to begin water restoration at that part of the island.
The Grand Bahama Utility Company says that additional information will be given throughout the day. For now, the water system remains stable for the majority of the island, and teams are on standby to act once the all clear is given. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Sherelle Dames.
Well, as Grand Bahamians await the all clear, officials at the Incident Command Center are preparing to shift from emergency response to recovery. Our Jolanda Thompson-Everest spoke with Family Island Administrator Preston Cooper about the next steps.
At the Incident Command Center, Family Island Administrator Preston Cooper says preparations are in place to wind down operations. Grateful that the island was spared the full impact of Imelda, Cooper says teams are ready to get on the ground to begin post-storm assessments and start deactivating shelters.
Which includes a rapid assessment from Sweeting Key into West Grand Bahama, to confirm whether there's any damages, etc., and also doing a post-mortem on the overall past 3 days. We were in the incident command system from Saturday.
With the worst of Tropical Storm Imelda now past, attention is turning to those who may have been displaced. Administrator Cooper says the next priority is locating affected individuals and beginning the recovery process.
We could bring normalcy back into our various communities on the island.
Cooper explains that he is pleased with the immediate sacrifice of the relevant stakeholders at the Incident Command Center, adding that their work speaks to commitment.
About service, one wanting to do what is good to ensure the protection and development of the communities and indeed by extension the island of Grand Bahama.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson-Everest.
How did tourism numbers square up in August? The answer when the National Report returns.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health.
Find us on 95th Terrace, Centerville, and now located in the Lucaya Shopping Center of Freeport, Grand Bahama.
Tourism today, Bahamas tourism today.
Happy World Tourism Day. And this year, our focus, tourism and sustainable transformation. We know that the Bahamas has 700 islands, and as we market and promote the destination for our visitors to enjoy, we're also focused on preserving and protecting it for future generations. So today, I call on each and every one of you as we promote our destination. Let's continue to be as responsible as we can. We've eliminated single-use plastics throughout the destination, and we focus on preserving and protecting our corals and our reefs. our millions of visitors come and enjoy our beautiful destination. So as we ensure that they're enriched in our culture, our history, and our heritage, let's also invite them to assist us in preserving and protecting it as well.
For nearly half a century, World Tourism Day has served as an occasion to call attention to how travel has shaped cultural, social, and economic development around the world. So today, I take this opportunity to briefly highlight two major initiatives in ecotourism being undertaken in the Bahamas. First is our UN Startup Challenge, which invites entrepreneurs and stakeholders from across our islands to contribute to the sustainability of our tourism sector and our country by pitching their solutions at the UN Tourism Tech Adventures in the Bahamas. The next sustainable initiative we are promoting is our mission for mangroves. As we observe this World Tourism Day, the Bahamas is actively seeking new ways and new initiatives which will ensure that the natural wonders and resources of our islands are protected and preserved for many more years to come.
For more tourism updates, visit Tourism Today or Bahamas.com. I'm Michael Miller, and this is Tourism Today.
A shortage of hotel rooms still a hindrance to growth in tourism earnings. Balancing that out, though, the robust gains in the local cruise segment. And as the central bank's financial and economic report for the month of August cites, this despite a slowdown in July, during which total arrivals decreased by 3.3% to 1.1 million visitors. Sea passengers that month dipped by 3.8% to 0.9 million. Now, if we were to look at major ports, arrivals to the Family Islands fell by 9.7%. On the other hand, total visitors to Grand Bahama shot up by 26.1% to 71,400, and all thanks to a 32.4% growth in air arrivals and a 25.2% growth in the sea component. That's arrivals. Now, in terms of departures, recent data from the Nassau Airport Development Company shows a 3% reduction in August compared to the same period last year. Figures show that despite U.S. departures falling by 3.4%, non-U.S. international departures grew by 4.3%. In the short-term vacation rental market, data provided by AirDNA show that in August, total room nights went up by 1% to 55,790. However, given increased inventories, as indicated, occupancy rates for both entire place and hotel comparable listings declined to 36.9% and 37.5% respectively. Those numbers coming in at 38.8% and 42.1% just the year prior. Looking ahead, though, the central bank predicts that the cruise sector is expected to sustain its robust growth, albeit less dominant.
The Bahamas tonight, the national report continues with news of the death of a well-known businessman. Stay with us.
The government's National School Breakfast Program recently hit 1 million breakfast meals served. What began as a pilot 2 years ago was expanded to all 112 public primary schools across the nation. Pinewood Member of Parliament Miles LaRoda recently visited Cleveland Enyas Primary to celebrate the milestone.
As it relates to the school itself, in 2022, after COVID, in the first full year, we had some less than 50 kids on the honor roll. Last year, we were up to 157. And I'm sure there is no coincidence because the school, along with partners who have been providing breakfasts for the children, myself as a partner, Candy Gibson from Foam and others, what we found that is it's increased the student population, kids who come to school, and it's reflective in their grades.
So far, the breakfast program has had a very positive impact with our students. As we are all aware, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and our students would need this breakfast so that it would help them be more focused, and it also helps with better behavior, and it also helps with greater academic success. And at Cleveland Aeneas, that's very important to us. So we are just so elated that we are a part of this program.
We commend the government on the program what they're doing because as a parent, you know, sometimes we don't have enough time in the morning all the time to deal with the kids rushing and trying to get ready for work and that. So having this program in the school is very important, especially for the young ones. They have so much energy after night that will help replenish their energy.
And keeping that energy, this is Ed Talk.
You can't help but smile when you shop the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Country Barn Ketchup, 24 ounces, $1.89. Rainbow Mackerel, 15 ounces, $1.25. Fresh tomatoes, $1.89 per pound. Sweet tangerines, 2 for 99 cents. Fresh ground beef, $4.99 per pound. Which location you choose to save at is up to you, but you can save at any Super Value or Quality Supermarkets.
It's the glitziest night in agriculture, where roots run deep and the spotlight shines bright. The Agrarian Awards 2025 takes center stage on Saturday, October 18th at the Atlantis Paradise Island Grand Ballroom, and you need to be there. Presented by the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources and the Agricultural Development Organization. Get your tickets now at adobahamas.org or call 397-7400 for more information. The Agrarian Awards 2025, planting with heart and soil.
This portion of the news is brought to you by 700 Wines and Spirits, bringing celebration across the nation.
A crushing start to the work week for relatives, friends, and employees of Restview Memorial Mortuary after learning that owner Keith McSweeney had died. The noted funeral director was found dead at his Robertson Road funeral home. Staffers gathered at the mortuary shortly after the news broke, offering up condolences and paying their respects to loved ones. Mortician Llewellyn Aswood says McSweeney will be sadly missed.
When I got the call this morning, it was pretty much devastating. He's a colleague of ours, and in this industry, is not very many of us. There are only about 30 or so plus funeral homes. So each one of us have a role to play in each other's lives. And through growing up, he worked along with my grandfather as well. So I knew him, and I had a chance to interact with him. And I'm very devastated at this time.
Meantime, mortician Gary Lord Rowe credited McSweeney with shaping his career.
This morning, about around 7:30, when my phone rang, my wife called me, asked me if I heard about Keith. I said, "What you mean if I heard about Keith?" I didn't say anything else. I just put on my clothes. First, I called the funeral home, spoke with Damon Fox, who alerted me, gave me some information. I came straight to the funeral home. I must say, without Keith, I don't know if I would ever be a mortician. Because when he had found an interest that I have really to be a mortician, he pulled up his catalog and he found a place, Mid-America in Louisville, Kentucky. This is when I was enrolled in Mid-America and went off to college.
Well, colleagues and friends in the Broadcasting Corporation mourning the passing of Environment Minister, the Honourable Vaughn Miller, who died yesterday. A former BCB director, Miller's remembered for his dedication, professionalism, and lasting impact on both the organization and the wider community.
He was, for me, a mentor, as I mentioned, a friend, a guide, someone you could always go to. And he'd even pull you aside if you did something that he was not pleased with, or you may have said something or done something that was untoward, you know, in your maturation growing up. I came to the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas 2004, so I was a young man back then, relatively young, and I've learned a few things over the years, but he was the one who taught many of us youngsters what it is to be a professional, what it is to be an announcer.
But one thing I can say about Vaughn Miller, too, is that he coined this phrase when he came back to the corporation. He said, "God bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and make the wealth more common," which meant that he wanted the wealth to distribute to the common folks. And if you know anything about Vaughn Miller, Eleuthera was near and dear to his heart. South Eleuthera to be exact, Greencastle to be exact, because you know that's where he's from. His family, the Millers, the John Millers Association, Vaughn Miller really loved South Eleuthera, and his mom, Miss Miller. We say condolences to her and the entire family.
On the other side of news, a check on sports with our Amajal Knowles.
Tropical storm Imelda putting a halt to the local sports calendar. Details of that story and more coming up in sports.
Come and visit us at Shop Smart, 'cause everything is here. Yes, we have it all for you. Toys, clothing, office supplies, appliances, custom cut blinds, bedding, drapes, and rugs. Come and visit us on Mackey Street, 2 blocks down from Wolf Road. Call us at 698-1052. Shop Smart, at Shop Smart, at Shop Smart. Oh, everything is here.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant back again with another episode on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Let's go. What you ain't gonna do is just pull up to any dispenser and put the nozzle inside your car without reading the signs. Because if you put the wrong fuel inside your car and the car mess up, you could be mad at us, alright? And then you have to walk or catch bus for about 3 to 18 months. What you're supposed to do is read the signs. We place signs all over the dispenser to tell you which fuel is which. Because you put the wrong one in the car, say bop, and you could be mad at us. You could be, oh, what happened to my car? No, it's you who ain't read. It say diesel. Diesel, one word, diesel. You got up, and you mad at us. Read, that's all you have to do.
It's Bahamas' biggest night this November 1st. Join Elias Promotions, YBE Promotions, Bahamas Ministry of Tourism, and Bahamas Air as they present the Fall in Love 90s R&B Concert Series at the National Stadium Ground, performing for the first time. Tyrese comes to Bahamas to deliver an unforgettable performance. Also performing R&B sensation Uncle Sam. Get ready for Deborah Cox. The Fall in Love 90s R&B Concert Series, Saturday, November 1st at the National Stadium Ground, Nassau. Tyrese, Uncle Sam, and Deborah Cox. Advance tickets are available now at all Cash and Go locations, or log on to cashandgobahamas.com. For info, call 242-427-8111 or call 242-357-0116. Be there.
Welcome to your Monday evening sports check, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports. Tropical storm Imelda making her presence felt across the country over the past 48 hours, and with it, severe flooding across the capital, thus affecting the status of the local sports calendar. High school softball and baseball expects to resume, as well as the playoffs for the Providence Softball Association this week. Our Charles Fisher gives us this latest update.
Yes, Armour, with schools on mandatory shutdown today, there were no high school sports. The BAIS normally have games here at the Blue Hills Sporting Complex for softball, but as you can see in the background, the fields were flooded, and from the looks of things, this water is not going to dry up anytime soon, so stay tuned to ZNS Total Sports for an update on scheduling as to when these teams will be able to play softball once again. Sun was out the day, but that is not an assurance that the New Providence Softball Association will be able to continue with their playoffs come Tuesday. Saturday's action pass, that was rained out. For the last 2 weeks, I must say, rain has wreaked havoc on the New Providence Softball Association. They are not behind schedule because the season ended quite early, so they are trying to get those games in. But Mother Nature, she don't seem to want to watch softball, so every night for the last 2 weeks, they've had some kind of postponement, but hopefully they can get their games underway on Tuesday. All this water can dry up and they can hear the call of play ball.
And that's been Look at Your Sports on this Monday. I'm Amajal Knowles signing out until tomorrow.
Are you a talented musician ready to take your passion to the next level? Then the Bahamas National Youth Choir is the place to be. Auditions are now open for the month of September to persons ages 15 to 25 years old. We offer two exciting options: concert choir for those who enjoy classical and traditional music, and show choir for those who want to perform in a more theatrical setting. Don't miss your chance to be a part of an incredible musical journey. To set up your audition appointment, email us at bnycsecretary@gmail.com. Let your voice be heard with the Bahamas National Youth Choir.
Hello, bonjour, hola, hello, ciao.
No matter where your passport takes you, BTC roaming keeps you effortlessly connected. Enjoy seamless calls, lightning-fast data, and affordable roaming across the globe. No SIM swaps, no stress. Just one network, working everywhere. So go ahead, explore the world, and still be just a call away from home.
Well, it's time now for a final check on weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Basil?
Good evening, McKishler. Imelda continues to pull away from the northwest Bahamas at 5 o'clock this afternoon. The center was some 70 miles to the north of Green to Key Abaco, moving towards the north at 9 miles per hour. Now, we expect some further intensification of the system as it pulls away. And by tomorrow, Imelda is expected to take a sharp turn towards the northeast, and that will continue to pull it away from the Bahamas. Nevertheless, a troughing from that system will still stretch across parts of the central Bahamas, which will create pockets of cloudiness and 1 or 2 showers tomorrow as well. But in terms of the rainfall, you can see they're nicely lifting off the eastern end of Grand Bahama. Still have some showers over the extreme northern part of Abaco, and I spoke to someone in the central Abaco just a short while ago, and they're having some occasional light rains there. The winds are also subsiding in the Abacos, which is always very good news. And as we take a look at the track, as we told you already, it's going to maintain that northerly component overnight, but by tomorrow afternoon, it will take that sharp turn towards the north and east, heading towards Bermuda. Hence, a watch has been put in place for Bermuda. Now, your boating forecast tonight in the northwestern islands right through Tuesday, those winds are going to be northwest to north at 15 to 25 knots. The sea is still rough at 5 to 8 feet over the ocean, so we're asking boaters to exercise extreme caution. And if you don't have to go out, we advise that you simply stay in for the central and southeastern islands tonight and Tuesday. Southwest winds also at 15 to 25 knots with those rough seas, so the advisory is for boaters to still stay in port. And as we take you into the middle of the week, Wednesday in the northwestern islands, the winds drop off significantly, becoming north to northwest at 10 to 15 knots. Wave height subsiding 2 to 4 feet, meaning that it's okay now to go out in the ocean. Low tide, that will occur at 9:11 in the morning on Wednesday, with the high tide at 3:44 in the afternoon. And for the central and southeastern islands, southwest winds 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet. So we still will maintain the caution for the central and southeastern islands. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they're brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
My work is on the water, free diving, thrown out line is how I survive. Listen, from Foggy to Yellowtail, from Jackfish to Kilo.
And that's going to do it for your international temperature, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. Now, taking a look at your forecast for tonight, mainly clear, windy, and humid with a shower again in spots. A low temperature tonight getting down to about 80 degrees. And then tomorrow we're looking at partly sunny, very windy, with lots of sunshine returning to the forecast. High temperature, pretty warm at 91 degrees. And your extended weather forecast over the next 7 days, pretty nice summer-type weather right through Thursday. But come Friday, we'll see some more clouds and showers and thunderstorms return to the area. Makishla.
Well, thanks, Basil. And that does it for the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for joining us.
at Harold Bourne. I'm Ted Jervis, and this is ZNS.
We're now going live to a press conference at the office of the Prime Minister, where the nation's chief, the Honorable Philip Davis, will give an update on Tropical Storm Imelda's impact and his recent trip to the United Nations.
Honorable Prime Minister Philip Davis, Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper. Sorry, we're being held. Yes, please. Apologies. Give us 30 seconds. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon.